Hola, mis amigos. This is Maestra, your Spanish teacher. Today I'm going to read a book to you called Planting Stories, The Life of Librarian and Storyteller Pura Belpré. As you can see right here, this book has won the Pura Belpré Honor Book Award. It is also one of Vermont's Red Clover books this year. It is 1921. Pura Teresa Belpré leaves her home in San Juan for a visit to Nueva York. Words travel with her, stories her abuela taught her, cuentos folclóricos Pura retold in the shade of a tamarind tree in Puerto Rico. Some words we have in Spanish are San Juan, which is the capital of Puerto Rico, Nueva York, which is New York, abuela, grandmother, cuentos folclóricos are folk tales, and Puerto Rico is an island in the Caribbean that is a territory of the United States. Now a new island stretches before her, ripe for planting seeds of the cuentos she carries. Manhattan, a city of hustle and bustle, bigger, louder, crowded, yet alive with hope and possibility. What began as a visit to celebrate her sister's wedding becomes the first steps in a new land. Y una vida nueva for Pura. Spanish words are cuentos, stories, and una vida nueva is a new life. She works first in a garment factory, but it is cold floors and hard edges, not the soft, fertile ground where seeds take root. Then, a golden opportunity, una bendición. The library needs a bilingual assistant. Pura speaks Spanish, English, and French. She is perfect for the job. Our Spanish word here is una bendición. It literally means a blessing, but they're using it here for a golden opportunity. Do you know what a golden opportunity is? But where are her abuela's stories? Not one folktale from Puerto Rico is on the shelves. How lucky for the library that Pura has story seeds ready to plant and grow. We see the Spanish word abuela again. Remember, that means grandmother. And Puerto Rico is the island in the Caribbean where Pura is from. In the children's room, she lights the story hour candle and begins. Her eyes dance, her voice sings. Pura's words paint a picture of a little house with a round balcony where Martina, a beautiful Spanish cockroach, meets Perez, a handsome and gallant mouse. El ratoncito Perez y la cucarachita Martina, a tale from the tamarind tree. So we have two words here in Spanish. We have el ratoncito, and that is the little mouse. And we have la cucarachita, which is the little cockroach. When Pura's story is done, each child makes a wish on the candle, and with a wisp of air, whoosh, la vela is blown out. Now Pura has a wish too, to plant her story seeds throughout the land. Pura learns to make puppets. She snips and sews their clothes, paints their delicate faces. The Spanish word on this page is la vela, the candle. Families come to hear folk tales in Inglés y Español, to watch Pura's puppets dance across the stage of her stories. Our Spanish words are here. En inglés is in English, y español, and Spanish. But the library needs libros for its shelves, how can more children read Perez y Martina and other cuentos de Puerto Rico? Pura puts her story in an envelope and mails it to Frederick Warren, a publisher. Our Spanish words here are libros, books. Perez y Martina are the characters from her story, the little mouse and the little cockroach. Cuentos are stories, and Puerto Rico is the island in the Caribbean where Pura is from. Soon, Perez y Martina is a book. Now a published author, puppeteer, and storyteller, Pura travels from branch to branch, classroom to classroom, to churches and community centers, planting her story seeds in the hearts and minds of children new to this island who wish to remember la lengua y los colores of home. Our Spanish words here are la lengua, the language, meaning Spanish, y los colores, and the colors. Writing, learning, speaking, teaching, traveling. Pura does not slow down until, like the beautiful Martina, she meets her Perez. On a December day in New York, Pura marries the musician Clarence Cameron White. Un año away from the library, she decides 1 year to start a new life as a wife. But a year stretches on. Together they travel to new cities. Clarence plays his music. Pura tells her stories. Over here we have un año, which means 1 year. They are happy years of music and writing, separations and reunions, friends, family, and stories. Always. Until on a June day in New York, Clarence stops playing his music, and Pura's story must begin again. It is 1961. Pura returns to the library. There are others now, storytellers, who make puppets dance, who read Perez y Martina, the tiger and the rabbit, Juan Bobo, the three magi, and many more of Pura's stories to the children. The seeds she has planted, the roots that grew shoots into the open air of possibility, have become a lush landscape into which she steps as though she has never left. Author's note. The seeds of the idea for this book first took root as I stood in the New York Public Library's Central Branch, gazing up at a large black and white photo of Pura Belpré, author, storyteller, and the first Puerto Rican librarian in New York City. Seeing the larger-than-life image of this remarkable Boricua woman I'd long admired, I felt a swell of pride, and, along with it, the warmth of recognition. For Pura's photo brought to mind my titis, aunts, first-generation mainland Americans whose parents migrated to New York from Puerto Rico. Pura Teresa Belpré was born in 1899 in the rural town of Sidra, Puerto Rico, to a family of storytellers. Many of the folk tales she learned as a child were told to her by her grandmother. I remember during school recess that some of us would gather under the shade of a tamarind tree, Pura wrote. There we would take turns telling stories. These stories came with me to the United States. I thought of myself as a storyteller. I wished to be like Johnny Appleseed, who in the United States was known for planting apple seeds across the land, and so I wished to plant my story seeds across the land. But being like Johnny Appleseed was not always Pura's dream. She had planned on becoming a teacher and enrolled at the University of Puerto Rico, poised to begin her studies. Then, in 1921, she traveled to New York for her sister Elisa's wedding. She may have chosen to remain in New York simply because she liked it, or perhaps, like many immigrants arriving in America, she was drawn to the promise of opportunity. For Pura, opportunity arrived at the New York Public Library. After working briefly in the garment industry, Pura was hired as a bilingual assistant at the 135th Street branch in Harlem. Her job was to find books and create programs that would appeal to the neighborhood's growing Spanish-speaking community. When Pura discovered there weren't any actual Spanish books in the library, she wrote them herself. They became the first mainstream Latinx storybooks in America. Putting to use the skills she'd been learning in library school, Pura made colorful puppets for bilingual story hours and hosted traditional Latinx holiday celebrations featuring folk tales performed in English and in Spanish. Spanish-speaking immigrants who once thought the library wasn't for them now felt at home. Pura's boundless energy, curiosity, and captivating storytelling transformed the branches where she worked into vibrant cultural community hubs. Even into her later years, Pura took buses and trains across the city, uptown and downtown, from the Bronx to the Lower East Side, bringing her magical storytelling and puppetry to children. On the eve of her death, on July 1, 1982, Pura received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the New York Public Library. Now, each year, the American Library Association recognizes outstanding works of literature by Latinx authors and illustrators with the Pura Belpré Award. Her life and work as a librarian, storyteller, author, and advocate for the Latinx community is a testament to the power of our own stories to build bridges, not just to literacy, but to social change. Every time I enter the bright and cheerful children's room of a library or read a Puerto Rican folktale to my daughters, I think of Pura and feel grateful for the seeds she planted. Okay, amigos, I want to review 2 words for you from the author's note. The first one is right here, and it says Boricua. Boricua is a name for someone who is from Puerto Rico. And then another word I want to review with you is this word right here, Latinx. Latinx refers to somebody from Central or South America. So think of the countries like Mexico, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, where Pura is from, or Argentina or Chile. All of people from those countries would be considered Latinx. Okay, amigos, I hope that you've enjoyed this story, and I can't wait to see you soon. Adios!